Hey everyone, Simplode here with Off Meta Bros, and today I am bringing you another version of a Nico Robin build that I've been testing out over the past few days and having some pretty good success on the sim with it. Now, I did make another previous version of a Nico Robin build that's on the channel already. I still think that's a pretty viable deck build. Of course, this one is a different type of tech in terms of what you want to do in-game. Went to a couple locals, got some good advice for some other players, along with some builds online that I kind of had a good mix with this new build, and like I said, I've been having some pretty good success on the sim with it. So let's get right into it. Of course, as everyone pretty much knows, the new Nico Robin from OP09 has an automatic banish with every attack, along with when attacking, you can trash one card with a trigger from your hand, and you can add one rested Dawn to your Dawn pile. So it's a pretty good leader, pretty much forces every turn the opponent to make a decision whether or not they want to counter out to avoid having the automatic banish. So it's a really good way to get cards out of your opponent's hands quickly. All right, getting right into it. Have 4 Onamis. This is a great card, not of course to use the banish effect on the leader, but it's nice during endgame where you could have some big bodies out. You can put banish on them with this card, and it forces them to realize, or your opponent to realize that, hey, I now have 2 banish attacks this turn. So it can really start to be valuable in endgame, along with, of course, great trigger, KO, cost of 5 or less from the opponent's side. That's why I run 4 of these. Next, another great yellow card, of course, is the Nami. Not too much different from the previous build. Have to run 4 of these. Great for the trigger, along with the card draw if you have 3 or less cards in the hand. Pretty much a great staple yellow card in most decks now, so I'd highly recommend having 4. This is a new addition where I've actually had success with it, but still testing a little bit, but it's having 4 Gadatsus. It's great for early game, of course, to get rid of maybe a couple searchers on the field, along with maybe a 3 or 4 cost. Depending on when you put this out, not many times you can have a 5 or higher, especially playing with this build, but it's a great card early game to have out. Of course, it's a 5 cost 6k leader or 6k character. Pretty nice to have on the field for attacking. Run 4 of these right now. Then, of course, you have to run the 4 of the new Nico Robins. Great card. Not only does it automatically trash a life, but the trigger is great. So I do have some blockers in here that are cost 3 or less, so it's great maybe for endgame. If you get this in your life, you could always trigger it out, putting a blocker out from your hand. Usually when you put this card down for the first time and it trashes a life, I usually use these to either pitch for counter or pitch for the effect if I have 2 or more in my hand. Still run 3 of the Sanjis, the new Rush Sanjis. These are great also for endgame. If you could go for the win, maybe rush or rest a blocker on the other side, and you get a nice extra rush attack for 7k. It's a great card here to have, along with a 1k counter. So if you need it to help counter, you can. Run 3 of those. This is a new addition, and you'll see why I have this in a minute, but I run 2 of Katakuris. And the reason is that I actually don't run 10 cost aces in this build. So I need extra ability to add life to my life total. And you'll see why I have these specifically in a minute, but I run 2 of these. I run 2 of the Charlotte Linlins, down from 3 from I think my other build, but the reason I only run 2 is because I actually run now, I'll go ahead and put these in here. I run 3 of the 9 cost Yamatos. I had some advice from my previous video, along with some, like I said in the beginning, some advice from locals. These are actually pretty valuable because not only it's an automatic life near the end game, I can also KO another character on the opponent's side. Same with this one as well, but you have the -1 effect, so I run 5 total of these together. But the big thing about these compared to the Ace is that I have 1 Dawn active left over when playing them. I can either use that for a 6k banish with the leader, or I could use it for some counters, or even the Nico Olivia's, which I'll show in a minute here. So I run 5 of these, or 3 of these, 2 of these, great addition to the deck. Now getting into the blockers, I run 3 of the Jaguars, the new one. Great 4 trigger along with just a great 3K blocker. Also early game, I've used this to pitch if I have a couple in my hand to help with the get arrested Dawn for the leader effect. So I run 3 of these. And then I run 3 of the Brûlés. Great with the Nico Robin triggers, like I said, to have the Jaguars and the Brûlés. It's great to play it out from hand, along with having an automatic trigger to play the card. Now, getting back to these are great. Of course, probably one of the best cards in the deck. So, of course, I run 4 of them. Not only is it a great 2K, but also it gives your leader plus 3,000 power automatically. So it's great even for early game to play it out. Hey, I have an 8K swing banished. So it really forces your opponent to think about, hey, should I counter or should I just go ahead and take the hit? Now, the reason I'm running Katakuris is if I have this out, go ahead and get the Katakuri back out here. Boom, I can play the Katakuri out, not only and then put this back in my life total, use it either for the trigger effect or I have another one in my hand if I take it. So that's why I run Katakuris now. It's worked out well in the sim. We'll see if it continues that way. Getting into the 2Ks, I run 4 of the Frankies. Not really much to say about Frankie. It's a great 2K, along with the trigger. End game, if I really don't think I'll need it and I can go for the game, I can play it out with if I have 1 life or less, along with draw a card. I then run 4 of the Capones, just like the other build. Pretty much a must-to-have. Great trigger to pretty much prevent an attack on the opponent's side, especially if you're near the end game. These are their new addition. I've taken the advice from some other ones, said, hey, this is actually a good addition, the Gum Gum Giants. And this is why I said having the Yamatos along with the 9-cost Linlins to have that 1 extra Dawn active, because I can get a free 9K counter for the opponent's turn, along with some card draw. And if you're at the end game, minus the 2 Dawn is really not that big of a deal because you get it back automatically next turn anyways. So I run 3 of these. And then finally, I run 3 of the 0-cost events. I was running 4, but I think I added an extra Gum Gum Giant just to get the 3 of in there, and I haven't really seen an issue not having a 4th. So running 3 or running 4 of these is always a good choice, especially for if it's the last chance in the life pile, along with a free, I wouldn't say free, but a nice AK counter for trashing a card. Not only if you have these in your hand, you can also pitch it to get the effect for your leader. All right, so that is the new Nico build. Again, both of my videos, this one along with the one I made previously, are both viable decks, I believe. But it just depends on what your play style is like. If you like the aces, go with the previous build, or if you like the Yamatos, 9-cost Linlins, and having the Gum Gum Giant in there, this is also a great deck. I'll be honest, this build has had more success on the sim, and I'm excited to try this one out at my next locals. I think I'm going to do well, hopefully get a top 8 out of it. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. The deck list will be in the description below, along with, I think I'm going to put a link to my other build so you guys can kind of decide which one you like better. Of course, leave a comment if you believe that this can be improved, along with like and subscribe. Thanks so much, everyone.